were about halfway through the tech process. The idea was we were never going to be able to open the show. So we already knew that. However, on the 19th, March 19th, we were going to do like our first preview almost kind of idea with 50 audience members or less, which was pretty much the whole staff of the Arts Club and maybe some invited people. By March 15th, we had teched more than half the play, so we were well on our way. But it was very weird because we knew we were never going to have any kind of run.
Well, it was very weird. On the very first day, Daryl, the artistic director, came in, and he seemed kind of tense, I'll say, and just saying that we might not be able to go on, but we're gonna keep going until we're stopped. So we all couldn't hug or shake hands or anything like that, but there was still like a mood of, I don't know, of just ease within the cast of like, let's just make the most of the time we have together here, and we were happy to be there. So it felt like we were in this like little bubble, like this naive bubble at the beginning, where we were like, yeah, we don't know how long we're gonna go, but let's just make the most of our time here and have a good time. I think for me, the biggest loss was community. I love the arts community, I love the theater community. Most of my friends are within the theater community, and especially doing a comedy, I feel very naturally inclined to comedy, and I feel like people who are comedians are my people, and it was weird to lose that, and I felt really sad to have lost these potential best friends, where we would have such an amazing experience of doing this hilarious show together. It was sad to say goodbye to that without even being ready to say goodbye.
It's so strange because usually on the first day of a rehearsal you'll see the maquette, or the designer has a chance to talk about what their concept is and the thoughts within it, and so to see it within this like half-done state, not knowing what it's going to look like at the end. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole process, is that day where every designer gets to sit in front of the cast and go, this is what I've come up with based on this little thing that this character says, and I was inspired by this image, or I'm taking from this abstract idea I had. I remember standing in the audition room at this dance call, and it was a room full of women, and it was going to be the first time, it was one of the first times I've ever been in an audition that was, all the people auditioning were only women. It was going to be the first show I was in that was an all-female cast. I was so looking forward to that.
Like, I auditioned for the show a year ago yesterday. So it's just this crazy long process that has now been dragged out even longer, so it just seems like this huge emotional roller coaster. I think that it's a really scary situation right now for everybody in all aspects of their life, and everybody worrying about their livelihood and where their next paycheck is going to come from, etc. But I think that it's really important to remember that the arts have been around forever, and everybody needs entertainment. And when everybody's been sitting at home in quarantine, everybody's been watching shows online, like theater shows, reading books, watching TV, all that stuff comes from artists. So I think that's a really important thing for everybody to remember, artists especially, because I know that a lot of times during this pandemic we felt kind of useless.
I think for me, in terms of the work that's being produced, like, I love the big production musicals. That's sort of, for me, what really inspires me about the industry. So I feel a little bit saddened and unsure about if and when we're ever going to be back to producing a 25-person show. I feel like this space is usually full of so much energy and so many personalities and people from, you know, all different stories, and it's just sort of sad to see it empty.
You know, being in the theater now, in the biz, maybe a bit over 30 years, and in the entertainment industry in general, I don't actually need hope to know that we're going to be okay. Like people, theater is so resilient because it's necessary. You know, it's a real necessary reflection, comment, emotional, spiritual representation of what's happening in society in the moment. We will always need theater, so I don't need hope. I know that it's just going to keep going. We just don't know exactly how yet, but I have no doubt, and I would say this to anyone, any given time, that theater will be alive and well. It's just a little bit scary now.
I hold on to the idea that theater is going to return. I think it will, but I think it's going to look probably a lot different. Like smaller audiences, smaller cast sizes, maybe there will be a virtual aspect to it. And I think the pro to that are there's people that were never able to go to the theater for whatever reason. So I think it still reaches people in an accessible way. So I think there is a positive side to however theater moves forward.
It's not even a question to me that theater will be coming back. Every single person I have ever encountered in my life has loved stories. I just think theater is one of the most pure forms that you can have that community and that sharing, and so I know it's gonna come back.
Theater will always
Yeah,
be
theater will come back.
there. In what? Like, can it be a huge, big show anymore? I don't know, but theater will always be there just because live performance always beats a movie or a video or whatever. That's why people go to concerts rather than you can listen to your music for free, but people still pay to go to the concert. So I think that energy is always a draw, so I think it'll always exist. In what capacity? I don't know, hopefully it's still big, but...
I also think that so much has happened between like when our show got postponed on March 17th and now, that it's very hard for us to look forward to what it's going to be like this time next year, or even what it's going to be like a month from now. So I think everybody has to be okay taking it one step at a time and know that we're adaptable. Things can change, we'll figure it out. There's a way to make shows happen in smaller spaces or with less people or outside. Theater will overcome this craziness.
Hi, I'm Ashley Corcoran, the Artistic Director of the Arts Club Theatre Company, and I want to thank you for watching Live from Home, sponsored by IA Financial.